How are you? Today we will complete a lot of questions talking about integration. Look at with me about this question here. We want to find integration about this function sine power 4 of angle x multiplication cosine power 2 of angle x dx. Look at here. We know sine power 2 x plus cosine power 2 x equal 1. So we can find this function in the simplest form, right? Sine power 2x dot sine power 2x dot cosine power 2x dx. We know sine power 2x equal half subtract by half cosine 2x. Okay, and sine power 2x here and cosine power 2x, we can write sine x dot cosine x all power 2, sine x dot cosine x all power 2 dx. And we can write here half subtract by half cosine 2x dot sine x dot cosine x. It's meaning what? Half of sine 2x, half of sine 2x all power 2 dx. And we have here half and half. We can write half coefficient between whole term here. Write half outside coefficient. Simplest result here. It will be half subtract by half cosine 2x dot force multiplication sine power 2 2x dx. Force multiplication by half equal 8, right? It's coefficient between them, and the result will be here 1 minus cosine 2x dot sine power 2 2x dx. And then distributive this function inside here, it will be sine power 2 of angle 2x distributive using multiplication this function by 1 and multiplication this function by cosine 2x. It will be sine power 2 sine of 2x all power 2, this function here multiplication by cosine 2x all dx. And here we have here sine power 2 2x. We can cancel this function, write 1 over 8 here, integration, and write half subtract by half cosine twice of angle here 4x. Subtract this function here, this function, and derivative about this function behind it. Sine derivative about sine equal cosine 2x is angle, but we must divide it by what? Divided by 2. So we must multiplication here by 2 and divided by 2. Okay, because derivative about the function, it will be cosine derivative about the function will be cosine 2x multiplication by 2, and we must divide it by 2 here. Okay, then you can find integration about this function. This function we must add 1 to power and divide it by the new power, because the function here and derivative about it behind it. Complete with me here. I will write half here and sine 2x all power 2 multiplication by dot 2 cosine 2x. Okay, the derivative here we can write half coefficient between all of them. The result will be 1 over 16, and integration here about this function 1 subtract cosine 4x subtract by this function here sine 2x all power 2 dot 2 multiplication cosine 2x. This function derivative about it behind it. Okay, I will complete the result up here. Okay, 1 over 16, write it here. derivative integration about 1 will be x. Integration about cosine angle, it will be what? Integration about cosine will be sine. Sine angle divided by coefficient of angle here 1 over 4, okay? Divided by 4. The result will be 1 over 16 multiplication x subtract 1 over 4 sine 4x. And this angle we must add 1 to the power and divide it by the new power, because we have here function and derivative about function behind it. Okay, the result will be right here sine 2x all power 3 divided by 3, because we have angle and derivative of this angle behind it. We must add 1 to the power and divide it by the new one. This is the result about this example. Okay, integration about x plus 5 multiplication by x minus 2 all power 9 dx. First, we must thinking of this function x plus 5 multiplication is this function. We can't find the result because this function derivative about 1. So we can write here x plus 2 plus 3 multiplication by x minus 2. It's x minus 2. It's meaning what? We can write here 7. We must write the same sign here, negative 2 plus 7, because it's negative. Okay, and then complete it. And we can write x minus 2, this function here, multiplication by this function will be equal x minus 2 power 10. Okay, and 7 multiplication by this function here will be 7 multiplication x minus 2 all power 9 dx. Understood? And then we can distributive integration between two functions here. I will add 1 to the power, it will be 11 over 11, and write 7 here, multiplication x minus 2 power 10 over 10 plus constant, because the derivative of the function 1, we haven't 1 here. We must add 1 to the power and divide it by the new power, and derivative divided by derivative of this function, since the result will be x minus 2 all power 11 over 11 plus 7 over 10 multiplication x minus 2 all power 10 plus constant. New question here, integration of x plus 2 multiplication by 3x minus 1 all power 7 dx. Okay, this example we must like this expression, must convert it to be this expression to using the rule. Okay, we must multiplication by 3 first. It will be 3x plus 6, and we can divide it by 3 outside. Multiplication by 3x minus 1 all power 7 dx. And then in function we must convert it like this function. By how we can find the result? We can write third outside here, integration 3x negative 1, and we must add 7 to it. The result will be 7 minus 1 equals 6 dot 3x minus 1 all power 7 dx. We can use a distributive, this function multiplication by function here, and write third outside, integration 3x minus 1 all power 8 plus 7 multiplication using here distribution. Okay, 7 multiplication 3x minus 1 all power 7 dx. It's very easy here, right third, and this function 3x minus 1 we must add 1 to the power and divide it by 9 plus 7 here, and we can write 3x minus 1 all power 8 divided by 8 plus constant, and we know 3 times 9 equal, we can write here third about all term 30 here, and we have here 1 over 9, or you can using 27 here and 24 here as well. Understood? but don't forget divided by derivative above this function here, divided by 3, and here divided by 3. Again, add 1 to the power and divide it by the new power, divided by derivative above this function here, and 8 1 here to 7 will be 8 divided by 8, divided by derivative of this function. We can write third outside coefficient between all of them here, 3, and times 3 here, it will be 9. Okay, integration, find the integration of x multiplication by x minus 3 all power 5 dx. Okay, thinking with me here, we must convert this term such that this expression is negative 3 and it's 3 here to using distributive properties. And we can using distributive properties here, it will be x minus 3 all power 6 here and here, multiplication 3 multiplication x minus 3 all power 5 dx. We have two functions here. First we must add 1 to the power and divided by the new power, and here add 1 and divided by new power here, plus constant. The result will be 1 over 7 multiplication x minus 3 all power 7 plus half multiplication by x minus 3 all power 6 plus constant. Integration of x power 2 minus 6x over square root of x minus 3 dx. Okay, the numerator here, numerator, we can find x right outside here, coefficient, and derivative about the numerator about the function, it will be x minus 3 all power negative half. We can thinking about this function here, x power 2 minus 6x. Who can tell me this function here? We can write this function is down here, x minus 3, and we must add number and divide it. We can write it what? We can write x minus 3 such that this denominator all power 2 it will be get, but we must cancel 9 because the result here will be x power 2 minus 6x plus 9. This expression equal x minus 3 all power 2. Then you must cancel 9 here. We must add negative 9. Okay, dx. And then we can complete the example by divided. Distributive here, x minus 3 all power 2 over x minus 3 here all power half. Subtract by 9 over x minus 3 power half dx. And we can find the result in the simplest form. We have two base equality, so we must subtract 2 power here. The result will be x minus 3 over 2 minus half equal 1 half equal 3 over 2. And here 9 multiplication by x minus 3 power negative half dx. And then we can add 1 to the power. It will be what? 5 over 2, and divided by this power it will be 2 over 5. Subtract by 9 and x minus 3. We must add 1 to the power, it will be half, and divided by the new power. It will be 9 divided by half, it will be 2 times 9 plus constant 2 times 9 equal 18. We can write here 18. Find the integration of 4 power logarithm x by the base 2 dx. We know 4 equal 2 power 2 all power logarithm x by the base 2 all dx. We can find it the simplest form by using the rule, because the base here, power here such that this base. So the result will be what? It will be 2 power this number, and we can moving 2 here up. The result will be 2 multiplication by, or 2 power log x by the base 2, and here we can write 2 moving here to the x power 2 dx, and we have 2 base equality, then the result will be x power 2 dx. It will be x power 3 over 3 plus constant. Next question here, integration 9 power logarithm root 3 by the base 3 dx. Okay, 9 equal 3 power 2 multiplication by logarithm root 3 to the base 3, and we can moving here to up here to this power 2 to root 3 will be 3, then integration about 3 power logarithm 3 here, because root 3 power 2 equal 3 to the base 3 dx. We have the base here equals the base here, so we can cancel them. The result will be here what? It will be here we have root 3 about integration here, it will be integration about 3 dx. The result will be 3x plus constant. Okay, if I change this number here, it will be x, and change it will be x, it will be x, and it will be x, and the result will be x power 2 divided by 2. Okay, look at this integration. We want to find integration about 2 power ln x dx. Thinking with me here, we know ln x equal logarithm any number multiplication by ln this number, such that if we write here 2 ln 2 multiplication by logarithm 2 base 2 to the number x, and we know ln x equal, if we put here such that 5, it will be ln 5 multiplication by log x to the base 5. Okay, any number you want, ln x will be equal ln 3 dot log x to the base 3. So in this example, we can cancel ln x here and write this rule to the simplest it. Write 2 here, and we can write ln 2 to the base x multiplication by, cancel this and write ln 2 multiplication by log x to the base 2 all dx. Okay, we have 2 power here. We can write 2 log x to the base 2 all to power ln 2, such that the previous question. We know 2 power log x to the base 2, it's meaning what? It's meaning x to power ln 2 dx. Then we can add 1 to the power and divide it by the new power. The result will be x power ln 2 plus 1 over ln 2 plus 1. It's a very important question. Okay, my students, again, we must using this rule. We know ln x equal ln 2 multiplication logarithm x to the base 2. Right here, this power, cancel ln of x, write ln 2 dot logarithm x to the base 2 here, and we can using the base 2 here about log x to the base 2 and cancel it, write x, because the base here equals the base here, and the power ln 2 is the number. We must add 1 to the power here and divide it by the power and write the constant outside. Okay, I will get you another example such that this question. We have here integration about 5 ln x dx. We can write 5 here, logarithm x to the base 5 multiplication by ln 5, because the multiplication about them, it will be ln of x. Understood? All dx. And then we can write here integration 5 power logarithm x to the base x, it will be x. Okay, we can write here the power here, multiplication ln 5 dx. We can add 1 to the power ln 5 plus 1 over ln 5 plus 1. understood, plus constant is the result. We must add 1 to the power because it's number, add 1 to the power and divide it by the new power.